Hi, my name is Max Armstrong. I'm a student here at RCGC, and I'm a longtime believer in science and math. And more importantly, I'm a longtime believer in the topic of the Earth being round. It's been widespread knowledge that the Earth has been round since around the ancient Greeks, but also we've grown up hearing a lot often that the Earth is actually flat, and that Columbus sailed the ocean blue to go disprove that theory. And when a lot of that's wrong, and like I already said, it was widespread knowledge since about the ancient Greeks. Of course, despite the ancient Greeks knowing, for the most part, that the Earth was never flat, there was still some misconceptions that were always known in history, like the fact that Earth was the center of the universe. Now, that was thought for a really, really long time, and it was controversial when it was first stated that it wasn't flat, and the first person to really actually prove it was Copernicus, and he discovered the Earth that was not the center and that the sun is. This was also previously discovered by Aristarchus, who will actually come up later in this discussion. But the point of that is that despite there being the misconceptions, ancient Greeks did know a lot of things, and eventually, even though that they thought the Earth was in the center, they were able to disprove that theory based off of science and math. And when they did believe that it was the center of the Earth, now most of the actual planets that they knew turned into their gods. So you had like Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto, and the sun and the moon were all the planets that revolved around the Earth, and that those were the gods that they worshipped. Like Jupiter is Zeus, and Saturn is, I can't actually remember who Saturn is right now. Sorry. Venus is Aphrodite, Pluto's Hades, Neptune is Poseidon, the sun is Apollo, so on and so forth. But like I said, Copernicus was able to disprove this theory, ultimately remaining in the sun being the center of the Earth. And I'm actually sure that because it was so widespread for the gods to be revolving around Earth, and that's what they thought was happening, and that's why it was such a controversial topic for a lot of people to actually swallow the fact that the Earth was not the center. That's the third planet from the sun. But flat Earth was never really a widespread belief, not as much as it was portrayed out to be in the stories of Columbus, like I said. But he's remembered essentially completely wrong from top to bottom. He was not the nicest guy, and he didn't just sail the ocean blue and then get there and just, okay, here it is now. He really thought that he went to India, and he died believing the fact that he went to India, which was totally wrong. And the one thing that he was right about, though, was the fact that he did always believe that the Earth was round. It was the only thing that Columbus basically got right, and he still didn't even do what he thought he did. He just totally thought that the Americas just weren't here, and just zoop-de-doop all the way around, and bada bing, I'm in India. And he died believing that fact, but he was dead wrong. Despite all that, he was correct about the Earth being round, but like I said, that was already widespread knowledge for so many years, so he really doesn't deserve a pat on the back for anything because he didn't do anything. Now, there's a couple scientific things that can really just disprove it instantly, essentially, but we're not going to get to that right away. We're going to first talk about NASA. NASA's been dealing with space since before most of us have been alive. They have sent people to the moon, they've sent people out of space, they've sent satellites, they have space stations, they've done a lot in space now at this point now in the year of 2021. So, what I'm about to show is just a couple images on their website of the Earth, and just the fact that it's round. So right here, we have the blue marble. What you just see right down here was the view from Apollo 17. So, there it is. That's the Earth being all round, so forth. Sorry, that's the Gulfstream and Fair. That's a cool picture, but that doesn't help me with my point right now. This shows a pretty good curvature of the Earth. Tracking methane sources, that's cool, but also, still, point is, you see that the Earth is round. Now, some people will disprove these pictures and say that there's no point to them and yada yada yada, and will essentially really just focus on the fact that when they're standing somewhere, they believe, if I'm standing here and I can't see a curvature, then where's the curvature? But that is just because of relative size. So if you take a flea and you put it on a basketball, that flea's going to think it's walking straight, but we can see that it's walking all the way around. That's what happens. But you're never going to notice the curvature of the Earth from where we're standing, because we are so small compared to the Earth. We are so tiny compared to the complete size of the Earth. So we'll never ever actually see the curvature of the Earth. But some people think that because they don't see it, then it can't be real. But the curvature of the Earth is the thing that proves it. It's the thing that outright just proves it, and the biggest way that you can do it, if you stand on a beach and you watch a boat sail away, you're not going to just see it go straight forever. Eventually it's going to go over the horizon. Eventually it's going to vanish. And the fact that it vanishes is because of the curvature of the Earth. That's really the end-all, be-all to the discussion nowadays. You can just take every flat earther, line them up on the beach, let them watch a boat sail away, and the fact that the boat won't sail straight forever, that's the curvature of the Earth. It's got to go, because eventually it's going to start to go down because it's following the Earth. Despite that, it's still very, very popular in mainstream media of the flat Earth thinking. And there's probably a lot of responsibilities for this. I mean, one, now more than ever, there's a lot of conspiracy theories that get thrown around about everything. There's always been conspiracies, but with the internet and the fact that you can have a little hub for... Basically, nowadays, you can take somebody and they can go on the internet and find everything that they believe and talk to other people that believe it and then just be enabled all the time. So that's essentially what's happening with flat earthers. They go into, say, there's Facebook groups and they're talking to other flat earthers. Obviously, if everybody's saying, yeah, the Earth's flat, we all get it, you're going to walk through everyday life thinking that the Earth's flat, because when you talk to somebody who says it's not flat, you just got to go back to your Facebook group and say the Earth's flat and have a whole bunch of affirmations. Hey, you're right, don't worry about what they say. And bam, you know the Earth's flat. But like I said, if you lined every single person who genuinely believes that the Earth is flat on a beach and just sailed a boat away, it's going to go down. It's not going to go straight. And if it doesn't go straight, then where's the argument? Like, if it's going down, what's happening to the boat? Like, is the ocean just getting deeper? Is that how the ocean goes to flat Earth? It just doesn't make sense. So, besides small groups of individuals talking about it, it's also pretty prominent in the mainstream media. There's a lot of celebrities who believe that the Earth is flat. Now, like I said, we can't sit here and think that every celebrity... I mean, I didn't say this actually, but I'll lead off with it. You can't sit here and believe that every single celebrity is just this knowledgeable person who knows everything they're talking about. They're just regular people. There's things that I have no idea what I'm talking about. I mean, it's not flat Earth because I know the Earth's round, but I mean, there's millions of things that I have no idea what I'm talking about, and I probably believe the wrong thing. But so you can't hold celebrities to any higher standard. There's a lot of celebrities though who are advocating for the flat Earth. I remember one time when I was in high school, that's when I first discovered this. There's the rap artist B.O.B. who believes the Earth is flat. I mean, he's not really prominent nowadays, and like I don't even know the last thing that he did basically, but he made a big old tweet going off about how the Earth is flat, and it obviously flopped because it probably played into him not being that popular anymore. Maybe, I don't know. Also, Kyrie Irving, he's stated that the Earth's flat. I don't know if he really believes it or if he just doesn't. If he's just the type of guy who won't disprove anything, like he'll just, until he has the full proof, he's not going to say it's not. I don't know, but I know that there was one point where Kyrie Irving did say that he felt the Earth was flat. But for the most part, most of the talk about flat Earth is really just memes being making fun of flat Earth. Because you can see it everywhere. Like, it happens all the time. There's tweets about people saying, "Oh, I went into this Facebook group and I said, what happens if a boat falls off and they get kicked out?" That there's been a whole bunch of viral tweets of that. But that's most of the traffic that happens with flat Earthers. But like I said, there's small sects of people who really think that the Earth is flat. And the best way to disprove it, and the only way to disprove it, truly, is the curvature of the Earth. It's the most obvious. It wouldn't exist if the Earth was flat. There wouldn't be no need for the curvature. And also, it's kind of common sense, because if you look at every single other thing in our solar system, it's all circle. Why would our Earth be different? Why would our Earth be the only discus-shaped thing? And then what's on the bottom? Like, it's kind of common sense. Despite that, I can't sit here and say what's common sense for everybody. But the Earth's been around, and it's been known that it's around for a very long time. And most of the flat Earth theories that were commonplace in medieval times, were not real. It was not this widespread thing, and most of the belief of it is actually happening nowadays. There's more belief that the Earth's flat now, more than ever, and that's because people can talk, but it does not change the fact that the Earth's round, always has been round, and forever will be round. It's never going to change. Thank you so much. I'm Max Armstrong. Goodbye.